Hi everybody, this is Old Man Minecrafting and thank you for joining for another SlimeFun tutorial. Hopefully we'll learn something together and let's get into it. The basic circuit board is dropped when you kill an iron golem. It has a 3 and 4 chance of getting, so a 75% chance of dropping this. Very common item for some of the early things that we'll be building. So you want to stock up on those if you can, especially if you have an iron golem farm where you can actually manually kill them. This is a really nice item. All of the rest of these items are a little more advanced, and we'll talk about them as we go forward. But these are basically components for everything that we'll build in the late early game. As we start building cooler things and more useful items, these will all be things that we're going to want to learn how to make. So we'll go over these as we get to those. To needing those, but for right now, I'm just going to skip over the technical components. The miscellaneous items is mostly just junk. Some components in here, but if there's anything in here that you think that you need explained, that's fine. But for the most part, these things are just either components or things that you'll want to build just for fun. The next item is armor. So this is the basic SlimeFun armor. You'll see these first Damascus steel leggings. These things are fairly useful. Protection 5, Unbreaking 5, and you can additionally put other enchants on it. These are Damascus steel ingots are fairly expensive to make, especially if you're just brand new on a server or you're playing by yourself. These are things that will come a little bit later. But something that's actually really useful, nice armor for the early game, and is actually a little bit better than just standard diamond armor. So something that is makeable early on. The next item is a reinforced helmet. So these are protection 9, unbreaking 9. Again, somewhat useful. Reinforced alloy is a little bit more expensive. It requires 6 different ingots to create. That's something that we'll get into when we get into making ingots, which will be in the next 2 videos. So useful items, but fairly expensive. Cactus helmet. This is just some armor with some thorns on it. Really nice. Unbreaking 6 on them, but cheap to make if that's something that appeals to you, is having a bunch of thorns. That's perfectly fine, but for the most part, fairly useless. Chainmail helmet. This is made with chain, which is really expensive. 3 steels makes 1 chain, so this would require 15 steel, which I just do not see being worth it at all. Again, so I'm just going to trust you to go through these things, just various levels of upgraded armor. This is the armor that I have on right now, this gilded iron. And with a full set of gilded iron, I only have this gilded iron is what I'm wearing currently. And it's protection 8 and unbreaking 6. But you'll see it's only not even what diamond would be as far as the armor level. So I don't think it's particularly useful. But something that is, I would say, moderately expensive to make, and really just not worth the time. I'm going to skip over hazmat just for a second. So then golden leggings, again, a bunch of 12 karat gold, fairly expensive, not extremely expensive, but fairly expensive. So just various levels of armor. Now, this hazmat suit is something that we will not be using currently, but in a few, maybe early mid-game, you will need this hazmat suit. This hazmat suit will keep you from getting radiation poisoning and dying. So if you wear the full suit, you're totally impervious to radiation. So when you're dealing with radiation, handling radioactive items, this is something that's really unusual. If you're carrying around a radioactive item, it will poison you and kill you really quickly. So you'll want to make a hazmat suit right before you start getting into radiation. The nice thing about the hazmat suits is that they're fairly inexpensive to make. Some orange and black wool, some cloth, and some lead. So those are the basic components for the entire item. Glass pane for the mask, but all of these items, orange and black wool, some reinforced cloth. Reinforced cloth is just some cloth with some lead in it. Cheap items, and something that's going to be very, very useful as we progress through the game. The next item that we're going to talk about are just these talismans. Talismans have kind of cool effects, but they only last one use. So these talismans will protect you. This one, for example, Talisman of the Anvil. Each talisman can prevent one tool from breaking, but will then be consumed. So if you're using your pickaxe and you're just not paying attention, if you have this in your inventory, it will keep your pickaxe from breaking. It'll send you a message, and then this thing will break. So these are all very similar. While you have a talisman in your inventory, it has a 20% chance of doubling all ores you mine. So this is something nice to carry around early on. Talisman of the Farmer. While you have this talisman in your inventory, it has a 20% chance of doubling all crops you harvest. Nice if you're into farming. Talisman of the Hunter. So you can go through and read these. These things are fairly cheap to make. 2 anvils for this one. Magical Lump 3 requires you to make Magical Lump 1, and then 4 of those make Magical Lump 2, and then 4 of those make Magical Lump 3, which is fine because all it takes is some nether wart to create these. So relatively cheap. And then the common talisman is some gold ingots and some more magical lumps. So these things are relatively cheap, somewhat helpful. A lot of them will break after you have used them, but can be useful if you're into just kind of cute little trinkets to carry around in your inventory. Anyway, if you learned something today, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining.